Building bikes like I do, they're often quite nostalgic, quite retro, quite vintage, invoking memories of your childhood years of mountain biking as a teenager, rocking about on the trails in the early 90s. But it's less common to actually be working on a bike that was part of that childhood. Check this out. Welcome back to Downhill Smooth Tarmac. I'm Jeff, and this is your YouTube home for all things budget cycling. And actually, it doesn't matter what your budget is, because sometimes we build Gucci stuff as well. I digress. In this episode, we're talking 90s steel mountain bikes and invoking those memories. For people like myself, grown up in the Midlands in the early 90s, your first mountain bike was a Raleigh. Yes, we might have dreamt of American Gucci Specialized Gary Fisher and Trek, but for us, the Raleigh was king. And I had a purple Raleigh Marauder. I had it when I was 10 and it lasted me until I was driving. That's how long I had it, but unfortunately it made its way into the skip. But for my good buddy Jamie, it's a different tale. His bike survived and he has given it to me, and I'm going to make it into something awesome. Well, hopefully. Let me show you what we got. Okay, so freshly stripped down, this is the bike. It's a Raleigh Kalahari from the mid to late 90s. And although it tells you all over it, it's decked out in Shimano Altus, Jamie's wasn't. It had a full 7-speed Dior LX group set, and it had some Series 2 Mag RockShox forks, all of which are safely stored away in case we ever want to do a sympathetic restoration. But I looked at this frame and this old school Raleigh geometry and thought, actually, a nice rigid build might be the kind of thing we would do now if we were doing a build. So that's the direction I'm going in, and I'm going to talk you through that now, because this thing has survived remarkably well. It's had a very deep clean with me, but it's good to go. Let me show you what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm going for a very sleek style of build for this. I want it to be something that just looks right as it rolls along and is very capable, both on and off-road, I'm thinking. And I'm going to start with a nice, fresh, flat bar, nice and wide, and with a Crank Brothers Cobalt 2 stem. I've also upgraded all the bolts to some purple ones all around the place, because if there's a chance to sneak a little purple on here, that's what we would have done back in the day. That's what I'm going to do on this build. There's not going to be a lot of it, but if I can sneak a bolt or two in, I'll be well happy. Okay, for the group set, we're going for something you don't see a lot of. I'm going for a box group set 1x11. This was kindly given to me by Jack at Pickering's Bikes because it needed a home, and this kind of thing is going to be perfect for this build. So 1x11 is what we're going with. It was nice stuff this when it came out. Box didn't do massively well, but as a former customer of More Large, they were often trying to get you to go for a bit of box. It was actually very good. Chain set, we're going for a bit of SRAM with a Praxis chainring. This was gifted to me by Scott. It was too big and the wrong offset for what he wanted to do with his Vagabond, so it's come our way. And it's so nice, it'd be rude not to chuck it on there. So the big set we've got for the back, 42 tooth, should be a nice fast bike for the kind of riding we're going to do. And then there's the wheels. This is the direction I'm going in. 700 by 38C. That's why I went for a 42 tooth chainring, because we're going to go up a size in wheels. I think there's no reason why we won't get 700Cs squeezed in there. It's a nice sort of standard geometry, so I think it'll take a bigger wheel. The wheels are actually a Vision set. They're Team 30s. They're actually Chops's. She doesn't know I've borrowed them, but she will when she watches the video. We're going for some Panaracer Gravel King semi-slicks in a 38, so I know that they will clear. And there's that box cassette in place. It's a big old thing there, 1146. Should keep us going. So we've got 42, 46 climbing gear, which should be absolutely fine. So that is the bits. Didn't talk about brakes. I've got a couple of options. Some are a little bit AliExpress and some are just Shimano Hydros. I'm not really decided yet. I think I might just put some Shimano Hydros on. So I've got a couple of sets knocking about. I also ordered some cable actuated Hydros. And I'm not sure about these. I ordered these because they were on offer. I mean, they were super duper cheap. In fact, actually, these were Amazon. I've not really had a look at them yet. But these were just over 30 quid on offer. And they are Disneyland. Them. And they're quite chunky and they're very orangey gold in colour. And yeah, I don't know a lot about them. I just saw them and chucked them in the basket on Amazon. So we might use them, but probably not. So there we go. That's the build. Ready to go. I've already got the headset pressed in because got excited and just sort of mocked a few things up. So that's already in. So let's go ahead. Handlebars on, wheels in, put a chain set on it, build it, and then hopefully I can show you. I think it's going to work. It's going to be classy. That's what we're going for. It's kind of a classy, slick looking rally build, which is quite something because I've seen people use the Kalahari for the cheap bike build off. So it's maybe I got it wrong. I'm being very nostalgic, but it's going to be a good bike. Whichever way it goes, it'll be rideable and enjoyable. Yeah, that's all we aim for in this world, really, isn't it? In this world of bikes. Okay, so let's kick things off by getting ourselves that handlebar in place. So here we go, straight on. Now, as I said, any opportunity to get purple on this bike, I'm doing it. So I've got a cheap purple headset. Now, if you'd have seen this, I put one of these on the giant Boulder team build as well, because I ordered 2 by accident. These actually are off Amazon, and they're seal cartridge, and they are so good for what they are. Absolutely ridiculous. So there's our bars and our cobalt stem that's got a little hole in it. I like that. There we go. Right, wheels. Okay, so out back, I have actually cold set this frame already, just adjusted it slightly, cold set, bent it. And I'm also going to be putting a trusty old A to Z as rewind. I'm also going to be putting an A to Z adapter on now so that I know we can run a disc out back. I gave this a lot of thought about the A to Z adapter because I did toy with welding a tab on. But with a bike as nostalgic as this one, it doesn't feel right to do permanent things to it in case Jamie ever has a moment where he wants to go relive his youth or pass this bike down the family or something, and we can always rebuild it. So you guys know I love an A to Z disc adapter anyway, so there's nothing to worry about there. Right. Oh, hello. What are you doing? Let's get a skewer in. There we go. Oh, we're going to need a longer skewer. Whew. Right, just about found a skewer that has got enough length and thread and the right cap to hold this all in place. Whew, that was a challenge, but we're there. Right, front one. Right, front one should be easy by comparison. You may have noticed that these wheels are being a little fiddly to fit, and that is simply down to the fact that I'm using a through axle wheel set with adapters, so they do make life a little bit harder. There we go, that's not central. Good, lovely. Okay, so our next little job, bottom bracket. I've offered this up, and I think these GXPs can be a bit funny to space because you don't get the tolerance that you get with the adjustability with Holotech 2. But what I do know is that much like the Alpine Stars that this has already been on, shell width is similar, and so is the chain line. By the look of it, the chain line I want is going to be very similar, so I'm going to go for probably a couple extra spaces than is technically allowed, but it works to give me the right width for the axle. So I'm going for a spacer on the drive side and 2 spacers on the non-drive side with this LVD's bottom bracket. We're using the Juice Lubes Ass Juice, the anti-seize juice, just to make sure that it's all protected in there. There we go. to go. Let's get that clean up. Oh, lovely. Trying to keep it all super clean on this build, but I don't know if we'll win. Rightio. Let's get this chain set in place, make sure we're at the right sort of width, which we are. Super clean, super tidy is the name of the game for this build. We want it, well, we've got to do it justice. This has been around for a while, this bike, part of our lives. Right, there we go. Oh, let's tighten that up. Make sure we get a nice chain line. Doesn't look like it's going to be too bad. Oh, there we go. I think we could have done with a slightly, maybe a 6mm offset direct mount, but we'll get it. We'll get it. There we go. Oh man, super clean. Yeah, I think that'll work just fine. Nice. Yes. Okay. Let's get our rear derailleur in place. We're going to be flying together. Do like these one-by drivetrains. They're just a lovely thing to build. There we go. God, one thing I liked about these box derailleurs is they're really, the clutch mechanism is great. Lovely. Right, there we go. Let's get a chain on it. Okay, chain-wise, dead simple. I'm going to go for the longest chain we can get away with. We're going with a Shimano 11-speed. Okay, so the chain we're going for is going to be a Shimano 11-speed LG 5000, I think it is. We'll try and keep as much as we can, because we're going to ask it to run 42, 46, which is quite a lot. I reckon that should do us. I can take an awful lot of chain out of here, but we can always go back on ourselves a bit if we have to. There we go. Hello. What would be good is if we just set our limits. Oh, the chain is definitely long enough. The chain line is all right. It's not amazing, but it'll do us. It'll get us where we need to be. Okay, so it's actually catching on the 11 tooth because of the cassette ring. That's my fault. The original box one we had a problem with, the threads were stripped, so I have to sort that out. But for now we're rolling. What a drivetrain. Man, this bike's going to be rapid. Okay, now we've got our drivetrain rolling. It'd be rude not to get it working. And then it's time for some brakes and we will almost be done. This has been a lovely quick build, this one. It feels like it anyway. Right, to the back. It's actually quite fun to think about as you start routing all this through, looking at this 1x11. This is a 1x11 drivetrain. We thought this was state of the art as teenagers because it had a 3x7 with index gearing. So easy to forget how far this has all come. So just pulled everything through there just to settle all the inners and the ends and everything. Now we should get a nice shift. Nice. Just shift rapidly. Some B-limit adjustment. Just get that away. Oh yes, fantastic. That's really adjusted things, isn't it? There we go, nice. That's quieting the gears down a little bit in the low end there. And we've got no chain derailment up front, so that is our gearing done. Okay, so setting up the gears is going to lull you into a false sense of security with a build like this, because we've now got to make that A to Z disc brake adapter work the way we want it to. So, first thing I've got to do is make sure that it's settled in as close to the frame as it can be. So I may have to loosen the skewer off just a little bit for that. This one is as good as set there, and I'm going to clamp the wheel in place. These A to Z adapters, if you've never used them before, you might be from a different era to me. I used to use these a lot, which is why you see them on a lot of my builds. I've yet to have one go west on me. The only compromise is when you want to take your wheel out, if you get a puncture or something like that, things can be a little bit more fussy, because you just got to reset your brake afterwards, basically. So there's 4 bolts on the adapter. Make sure you tighten them all up. Now, sometimes, and again, this is a voice experience, I like to make sure that I'm getting a good line for my caliper to sit on. So I want the standard adjustment that I would expect. And so what I do is I put my mount on and I get it roughly where I want it to be. And I have a look at basically centralising the caliper on the rotor. And as you can see at the moment, it's quite a long way from the mount. So what I do, and so it's up to you whether you want to do this or not. I'm sure I'll get lambasted by people for it. But I use a little V-brake spacer. Not that one there, because that one, I didn't like that one, so I dropped it on the floor. Use a V-brake spacer. And just space out my mount just a little bit. I've changed my mind, I want that one now, I've really dropped it. Sometimes these mounts will work perfectly straight out the box, and other times they just require a little bit of finessing. What you got to remember with all these kind of things is we're getting it to do something it wasn't originally designed to do. So the bike, if it had dismounts, and I did think about welding one on, but I don't really want to. So I'm going to go for this one here. Now I can see with that mount now, I've got a lovely wobbly caliper around the rotor. So I know that I can centralise this properly now. So let's have a go. Hopefully that's rolling nicely. There we go, we've got ourselves a brake. Nice. That was the harder one. So I'm going to route the cable quite simply with some cable ties, because with this bike being black, a few black zip ties are not going to look out of place, and we can keep the cable nice and tight. Just remember, if you are running cable ties for this kind of job, I am going to have to put one in the middle though. Keep the sharp bits underneath and away from anywhere where you could catch it with your body, because that really hurts. And also, I would be cutting these with a blade as close to the little buckles as possible to keep any sharp bits away. You can even file them flat if you need to. You don't want any sharp bits knocking about. There we go. If the back one's done, the front one shouldn't be too hard. Right, so hopefully the challenging one would have been the rear caliper. So this front one shouldn't be too hard to do. And it should fit pretty much automatically because there's a proper disc adjusted fork. I'm having a meltdown! Usually put them in. This should be nice and easy to do. Oh yes, lovely. Right. So these brakes actually came off my On1 650B build, the red one. If you followed the channel long enough, you'll have seen it. And these were all bled up for that with new pads. So they've had a little bit of use, but not massive amounts. So these should be good to go for this build. Nice. There we go. Right, finish the cockpit off. Right, so let's get this cockpit finished off. Sorted, done, dusted. So, grips-wise, just got some cheapy lock-on types. Nothing particularly exciting there. But, as I'm doing this in the spirit of how we would have been as kids, it'd be rude not to try and put some purple end plugs in. These are super duper cheap and I can only apologise for the quality of these. They are straight off Amazon. But I'm going to finish it off nicely. Oh yes. So lock the grips in place as well. Let's get this cockpit set up. Somewhere like that would look good for me. Yeah. Oh man. I don't think this thing's going to have grip for days, but it is going to shred quite happily. Oh yeah, that'll do us. Can do some trail side adjustments. That's nice. Shift these cables around a little bit. Yeah. Look at that. Oh, there we go. Check out the Raleigh Kalahari. And I know what you're thinking. This is normally the part where we'd be outside and we can see it in the daylight and appreciate it. Well, I don't know whether you can hear it, but it is absolutely throwing it down. So that's not going to happen. So you're going to have to appreciate the Kalahari here in the workshop. Just check it out. It is looking awesome. It's looking natural with those 700C wheels, in my opinion. Those flat bars, it's awesome. It's turned out way better than I'd hoped. And I really, really hope that when Jamie sees this, I've done it justice and he's happy with the build as well. I'm sure he'll be dying to have a go on it, take it for a little thrash about. So, quick recap. Hydraulic Shimano brakes, box 1x11 drivetrain, SRAM GXP chainset, 42 tooth Praxis chainring courtesy of Scott, wheels courtesy of Kate, although she doesn't know it, Vision Team 30s with some Gravel King semi-slick 700x38C ready to go. Oh, and a load of cheesy anodized purple bits everywhere, just because. If I could have got the old, it did have an old Tektro purple brace on the back. If I could have got that back on there, I would have done. Nice thing is, all of this is totally reversible. So if we decide to have a renaissance of 26-erousness, 26-erousness, what a word. If we try to have that, we can rebuild this bad boy exactly how she was, including the Transex purple flat bars that it had. I don't know whether you saw that in the little time lapse of the strip down. Anyway, with that, you've seen it. It's been converted. I'm going to sign off and you'll see this again in a ride video. Hope your next ride is downhill smooth tarmac. Keep wheels spinning, keep your rubber on the road and your knobblies out on that trail. Be safe out there. Look out for one another. The autumn leaves are going to be falling. More people are going to be coming off. Be a good human being first and even better cyclist second. If you get a minute, it'd be amazing if you could like and subscribe for more of the content and comment. Tell me what you think of the bike. If you're not a fan, say so. Tell me how you would have built it. Let me know. Maybe I can do a different build. Again, I don't mind doing that. I'm happy to have a go at your suggestions. If you love it, tell me as well, because it's really nice to know that I'm not the only person who likes these weird and wonderful builds. All that aside though, don't let any of that get in the way of you getting out and riding your bike. Until next time, this has been Downhill Smooth Tarmac. I'm Jeff, and thank you for watching.